We'll move to our next witness, gentlelady from Illinois, Ms. Schakowsky. Thank you.
Thank you,
5
Mr.
minutes.
Sue, Representative Castor. I served along with the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Ryan, on the President's National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform. And from that experience, I know that we do bring very different perspectives to the debate on how to address our large deficits while encouraging economic growth. But as he knows from our meetings, experts that appeared before us said we cannot solve the problem only by making cuts. Revenues must be a key part of any deficit reduction strategy. Not only do we need revenues, but we need to do it in a fair way. That's okay, I got it. We need to do it in a fair way. Those who have been enjoying prosperity of recent years should have to pay their share. Am I upside down? No. Okay. It pays to remember that just 10 years ago we had a budget surplus, easy to forget, and the debt was rapidly decreasing. During the Bush years, those surpluses disappeared and huge debt accumulated due to 2 unfunded wars, 2 unfunded tax cuts that mainly enriched the already wealthy, and a blind eye to the recklessness of Wall Street, which caused 8 million Americans to lose their jobs and devastated our economy. And now we are on a so-called, quote, unsustainable fiscal path, to quote the Commission report, which threatens our economic viability. But the alarming redistribution of wealth that is shrinking the middle class is another grave threat to both our economy and our democracy. Over the last 30 years, there has been a dramatic and deliberate transfer of wealth from the middle class to the very, very rich. Income inequality is now at highest level since 1928. Wages have stagnated for middle and lower income families despite enormous gains in productivity. We have the most productive workers in the world. So where has the money gone? From 1976 until 2005, the bottom 20% of households saw their incomes increase by $200. That bottom fifth is way at the left. You can see what you need to see just by this chart. But this is 20% of who saw their income go up $200. Over the same period, the top 0.1% saw income growth of nearly $6 million a year. That's growth. Their average income here is $27 million. The average income for the bottom 90% is around, what, $31,000. 27 million, 31,000. Meanwhile, Republicans who squandered a budget surplus, created the huge deficit, and whose policies allowed Wall Street recklessness to bring our economy to near collapse are now demanding that the middle class foot the bill. And the solution to our fiscal mess that they suggest is to gut vital programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and to make cuts in domestic spending that would cause an additional 700,000 Americans to lose their jobs. There is another way. I have introduced H.R. 1124, the Fairness in Taxation Act, which would create new tax brackets for millionaires and billionaires, starting at a rate of 45% and rising to a top rate of 49% for billionaires. It would also address a fundamental inequality in our current law by taxing capital gains and dividends at ordinary income rates in those brackets. And historically, those rates are relatively modest. During most of the Reagan administration, the top income tax rate was 50%. And in previous decades, the top rate was as high as 94%. According to Citizens for Tax Justice, the Fairness in Taxation Act would raise nearly $62 billion in fiscal year 2012, allowing us to avoid the harsh cuts that will hurt the middle class. It is time for millionaires and billionaires to pay their fair share. This isn't about punishment or revenge. It's about fairness. And this is an idea that the public supports. In a recent poll, 81% of respondents supported placing a surtax on federal income taxes for those who make more than $1 million a year in order to reduce the deficit. So I would like consideration of the Fairness in Taxation Act in the budget resolution. It will allow us to stop the war on the middle class, restore fiscal integrity and fairness, and fund those initiatives that reflect our American values and goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schakowsky. Ms. Castor, any questions? Okay, thank you very much for your testimony, and I know that obviously here on the budget we're all concerned about spending and revenue, and we have a lot of work in front of us.
And I hope fairness as well.
Looking forward to working in a bipartisan manner. Thank you again for your
Thank you. I'm wondering if I could put into the record these two charts.
Without objection.
Thank you.